rapidly thus far. And we now move to the women's balance beam final. The start list for the beam competition here at the European Championships, and we see Romania come into this as the top two qualifiers. 5 of the last 10 European balance beam titles have been won by Romanians. And we have Sylvana Singu as the second strongest qualifier, and Larisa Yaki as the top performer in qualification. Third strongest qualifier is the penultimate athlete, Anastasia Binsa. So out onto the competition floor come the competitors for the women's balance beam competition. And one thing that is really worth bearing in mind is what we can learn from the team final when it comes to the balance beam, particularly the performance of the strongest performer in qualification. Come to that in just a moment. Super moment this is for Bil Gahan of Turkey, leading out the rest of the field, and quite a field as well, including one of those Romanians that have won 5 out of the last 10 European titles. Bil Gahan of Turkey, the 16-year-old, 8th strongest in qualification. Sylvana Singu of Romania, another 16-year-old, joined by 8 years her senior, Larisa Yaki, the top qualifier. Elina Vova of Latvia, 18-year-old, 5th strongest in qualification. It's a great moment here for Elisa Himer of Austria, the 11th strongest in qualification. Christina Zivica of Croatia, the 10th strongest. Anastasia Binsa of Ukraine, the 3rd strongest qualifier. Anastasia Motak of Ukraine, the 8th strongest in qualification. So things have been somewhat complicated by the Noah's Ark rule, where only 2 athletes per nation can qualify for the final, meaning that we have from 1st ranging down to 11th in qualification competing in this final. But it's a balance beam final, so who knows? A moment to take stock of what is about to happen for Bil Gahan of Turkey, competed in the team competition. A very good young junior gymnast, won a couple of bronze medals at the Junior Mediterranean Championships, and she starts nicely with that front flip mount. Eighth strongest qualifier with 12.366. Layout was authoritative. Big moment coming up here. Yes, indeed. Now, come along, here we go, the dismount from Bil Gahan. Oh, very good. Very good way to start the final from this young Turkish athlete. There will be many a delighted Turkish fan at that display, and what steadiness from this young gymnast. Started nicely, tucked the knees in tightly to perform the front flip to mount the apparatus. This was a composed display, delivered this work on her terms. Sometimes athletes can let the routine run away with them. At other times, they can understandably take a little too long, be too hesitant. The gymnast, who is from Bolu province in the northwest of Turkey, it's midway between Ankara and Istanbul. It's a very important staging poster, a mark on the map between two huge cities. Well, the first mark has been registered by her. It's the mark that everyone else has to beat. 12.45, it's a jump up of 1/10 from qualification. That will do. Sylvana Singu, another 16-year-old. Romanian athlete, 13.1 in qualification. Some nice workload to the apparatus. The reigning all-around national champion. And that was confidently done. Well executed walkover. A little bit of difficulty coming out of the illusion turn. It's a very nice beginning, this, to the balance beam final. Sylvana Singu. Some very distinctive work on the apparatus. Gymnast who took the team silver medal yesterday with Romania. Returned to the podium for one of the great gymnastics nations of the world. And the most successful nation still active, still competing at European Championship level. Soviet Union has won a couple more gold medals than Romania, but unsurprisingly they've tailed off a bit in recent years. So there is a possibility of Romania in time going to the top of the Women's European Championship medal table. Now, we're just hearing that there's an inquiry. There we go, confirmation. Bil Gahan. And I imagine the reason for that will be that she was given a 4.9 difficulty score and had a 5.1 in qualification. Yes, that's a very worthwhile inquiry to put in, actually. we did have quite a big change to one of the scores in qualification. The next gymnast, actually, Larisa Yaki, her difficulty was raised, I believe, by almost half a mark after an inquiry in qualification. So don't ask, don't get. Worth remembering, senior international debut for Singu. Once again, the national all-around champion. Amazing, isn't it, at the age of 16 to have won 2 senior all-around titles, and not back-to-back either. That is a very strong score. 13.8. A 6 difficulty score. Has rocketed up from in qualification by over half a mark. Asks a lot of Larisa Yaki. 13.633 for Yaki in qualification. The best score in qualifying, but in the team final, a 14.133. Oh, lovely. Oh, it's just so assured. That whole approach of just really mark your landings on the beam. You tell the beam where your feet are, not the other way round. Super. And disguises the adjustment into a piece of choreography. European champion in 2013 on this very piece. Super work. There was a big step back as she landed, but it's a very strong performance again by Larisa Yaki. My, how good it is to see her back. It is wonderful to see her back. Now, we're just hearing there that, no, that is not the score for Larisa Yaki. A 0, judges couldn't stand it. That is the number that we really care about for the moment. 12.65 for Bil Gahan. She's had her difficulty upgraded. I did say she was a couple of tenths down from qualification. Well, that has been a very worthwhile upgrade. Very worthwhile inquiry if the difficulty score was upgraded. We look back here at the work of Larisa Yaki, who scored a 14.133 for this in the team final. Just remind you that, I'm sure many of you know, she's had 3 surgeries performed on her Achilles. The latest in Austria at the end of 2018. She did say it was 50-50 as to whether she would come back, but in her own words, I didn't choose gymnastics, it chose me. Beautifully put. Yes, there's always a place for Larisa Yaki. And with this performance, there's likely to be a place somewhere on the podium. It's 14. She goes into the gold medal position. It would be the absolute icing on the cake to depart these championships with a title. Well, we have had ourselves 3 quality performances, assured gymnastics. Here is Elina Vova of Latvia. Starts as Bil Gahan did with the front flip mount, and then she uses another right there. Her first international medal was the balance beam silver at the World Cup in Hungary in September. Actually October, I believe, first week of October. Now she was a touch deep landing the dismount in, in qualification. Not there. Much better. 12.733 the score for Vovova in qualification. 12.65, that's Bil Gahan, is the current bronze medal position. While I reflect back on the men's pommel horse final, this time a week ago, where 8 gymnasts went up and we didn't have a single mark lost for losing contact with the apparatus. And thus far we are 100% in this balance beam competition. Let's hope the curse of the commentator doesn't apply. Worked well to get some height there, and again in her wolf jump. And that dismount looking a little bit more secure than perhaps it did in qualification. So any increase on the 12.733, there is, just marginally, 12.75. So Vovova is in the bronze medal position. Bil Gahan drops down into 4th place. Welcome to Elisa Himer of Austria, 25-year-old. Breaking some ground here for Austria, competing in this apparatus final. Nearly. Austria won their first Artistic Gymnastics European Championship medal in the men's competition last weekend. Although she came off early on in the routine, one thing that's worth bearing in mind with Himer is that having qualified for the Olympic Games, she's come here with a completely brand new set of routines. Nicely executed courbet there. Especially on beam. This, more than any other piece, is very new for her. And one of the reasons why I think we're seeing some of these losses of contact with the apparatus is because she's said in her own words, she's determined now not to play things safe. She's thinking about the Olympic Games. She's trying out more complex things than she's done before. This is a gymnast who missed Rio after rupturing her Achilles at the test event. She has some nice artistry to her work. Well, this is all part of the process for Elisa Himer. brand new routine on the balance beam, trying to increase the complexity of her work while still keep artistry front and centre. She said that she went to Stuttgart, the World Championships, in October of last year with unfinished business. Said that injuries had blighted her so much, she'd made the decision she will retire when she chooses to retire. It will not be dictated by physical circumstances. So for both of those unintentional dismounts from the beam, a couple of marks of deductions to be accumulated. First ever apparatus final though, and that means something. Elisa Himer, 25-year-old from Lustenau in the west of Austria, based now in Amsterdam, said that the decision to move and train there really did change everything for her. And her score is 9.9. The execution mark 5.6 because of those aforementioned difficulties on a couple of occasions. If you watched the World Challenge Cup in Szombathely in October, you will have seen Christina Zivica win the gold medal on the balance beam. It's a nice mount sequence beginning with that switch leap. 10th strongest in qualification here, 12.1. Very difficult, those straddle jumps, to keep your line completely precise. Really important to get the knees tightly in for the back tuck skill. And really does plant that landing admirably, Christina Zivica. She says that people are always surprised to hear that she's from Croatia. She said in her own words that if she wins, then people will remember where it is she's from. They'll start to associate Croatia and artistic gymnastics through her work. That's her dream. Took a big step to doing that when she won the balance beam title in Szombathely. And it's been a very fine championships, both men's and women's, for Croatia. They had their best ever men's competition, coming away with 3 silver medals. .12.1, Christina Zivica, delivers exactly what she did in qualification, and that's enough for 5th place at the moment. So, just as one expects to a certain degree from a European balance beam final, it's Romania 1 and 2, it's Latvia 3, but here is the 3rd strongest performer in qualification, Anastasia Binsa of Ukraine. 17-year-old from the west of Ukraine, been a senior now for a few years. Uses the candle mount. Just struggling to keep the form there. Just about. Difficult skill to try to get the back leg right up. Double tuck to dismount with authority from Anastasia Binsa. Gymnast who was 5th in the all-around competition at last year's European Championships. Her year was marked more than anything else by the floor gold at the European Games. Important to see in the candle mount that handstand is established. Candle mount so named for exactly what it looks like. Judges will identify if the gymnast is tentative on the leaps. They don't manage to really establish a horizontal plane with the legs. This was where she really did manage to restore balance quickly and effectively. Could make a bit of a difference, actually. Could make all the difference staying on there. It's got the difficulty to be in contention. It is in contention. Anastasia Binsa, 13.1. Goes into the bronze medal position. So still Yordaki, then Singu, then Binsa. We go to the final competitor, Anastasia Motak of Ukraine, 6th strongest in qualification. executed the back tuck well. Just has to watch for real moments of hesitation. Something the judges look for is when the gymnast takes a long time to establish their dismount. Well, she has performed the dismount very well. I'm sure you heard the timer beeper on a couple of occasions. 12.733, the qualification score for Motak. So we look back at the work of the final competitor in this balance beam final. No doubt a stylish gymnast, a very distinctive gymnast in the way that she performs. And this will look back at the dismount. My apologies, that's the front pike skill. Try again, here we go. Yeah, really difficult to get that extra twist in there. All the way around. So, it is a bronze for Anastasia Motak with a 13.1 score. Right at the end. So she's done it on the tie-break system with Anastasia Binsa, who is in 4th position, and it means that once again, 7 years after she won the title in Moscow, Larisa Yaki is the European champion on the balance beam. She wins her 15th European Championship medal, her 6th gold medal, and Romania wins yet another continental title on the beam. And they do the double as well, with Sylvana Singu taking the silver and Motak coming in 3rd place ahead of her teammate Binsa. Anastasia Motak of Ukraine, bronze medalist. 2nd bronze medal of the day for her, to add to her team title. The balance beam silver medalist, Romania's Sylvana Singu. 2nd silver medal of these championships for the 16-year-old from the southeast of Romania. Larisa Yaki is a champion again. For the 6th time, she takes continental gold. The 24-year-old's remarkable resurgence continues. It is a gold medal on the balance beam for her once again. A title that she won in Moscow. And it restores Romania to top spot in a European balance beam final. And as a result, we shall now hear the national anthem of Romania. the national anthem of her country, Awaken the Romania. Well, she's woken up, there's no doubt about that. Larisa Yaki is back. There they are, the medalists for the women's balance beam competition at the 33rd European Women's Artistic Gymnastics Championships, and they depart